said it was nothing, just lights in the trees, a trick of the frost, a ghost on the breeze. But I saw a mirror older than me, staring through time like it wanted to speak. The forest went silent, the world held its breath. Something was watching beyond life and death. We stepped through the green, boots breaking the seal, not chasing a light, but something too real. I came back with salt on my skin, my mind split wide where the storm got in. They call it a test, but I know the deal. History blinks beneath the green veil.
The pulse that began in Suffolk had now become planetary. As global powers scrambled to interpret what was happening beneath Capel Green, Raven Rock's subterranean halls trembled with anticipation and fear. The first phase transfer test succeeded. A theta field payload vanished from U.S. soil and reappeared beneath Rendlesham intact. Proof that the gate worked. But the moment it did, China's quantum satellites and Russia's field operatives detected it. The world now knew the Americans were on the move. President Rayner authorized the Golden Dome, a cloaking field to protect the British corridor, while Voss briefed Jack Barrett, Leo, and Sergeant B on the grim reality. Their mission had triggered a race between nations, belief systems, and timelines. To the outside world, this was about technology. But within Echo Frame, they knew it was something deeper. The phase data revealed a reflection. The anomaly wasn't reaching toward humanity. Humanity was reaching toward itself. The event in 1980 wasn't the beginning. It was the correction point, and now the correction was collapsing back on its origin. As Chapter 15 closed, the choice was clear: phase through light or fly through the dark. The team had until dawn to decide. December 23rd, 2025, 0600 GMT. Raven Rock Mountain Complex, Decision Chamber, Gamma. The mountain groaned like a living thing. Every corridor pulsed faintly with the low hum of the harmonic field, 13.13 hertz, steady, ancient, alive. Beyond the carbon-sealed walls, the countdown had already begun. Jack Barrett sat across from Dr. Voss, his eyes hollow from sleepless hours. Beside him, Leo was unnervingly calm, as if the signal itself had settled into his bloodstream. Sergeant B leaned forward, elbows on his knees, ready to fight the void if he had to. On the table, 2 mission boards flickered, Echo Jump and Dark Carriage. One offered instant transit through phased reality, the other, a physical flight under cover of deception. Both carried the same destination and the same probability of never returning. Voss broke the silence. The window closes in 23 hours. The lattice is active across the globe. What happens next decides whether the world remembers itself. Jack nodded slowly. Then we move. Outside, the snow over Maryland shimmered faintly with static discharge, as if the atmosphere itself was beginning to listen. The crossing had begun.
Beneath the mountain, the clocks run thin. We're born again. One cold of blood, one breath, one spark. The line between gods and men grows dark. The chamber hums, the pulse is near. The end of silence, the edge of fear. 13, 13.
December 23rd, 2025, 0600 hours GMT. Raven Rock Mountain Complex, Decision Chamber Gamma. The room had no windows. The walls were carbon-layered, soundproofed, and frequency sealed. Outside, the facility was locked under DEFCON 2 protocol. Inside, history was being weighed on a countdown. Jack Barrett, Sergeant Adrian B, and Leo sat across from Voss and Huntergreen. None of them looked rested. All of them were ready. The question wasn't whether to go. It was how. Huntergreen keyed up 2 mission boards. 1, phased insertion, echo jump. Pros, instant, undetectable by radar. Cons, now compromised. China and Russia could anticipate the waveform shift. Risk of temporal misalignment if resonance deviates mid-jump. 2, stealth flight. Dark carriage. Pros, tangible, military supported, full ground team on arrival. Cons, prone to intercept en route, requires precise landing at RAF Mildenhall and fast exfil to Capel Green. We've received intel, Voss said calmly. Russia has activated a field team inside Norfolk. China has diverted a quantum array to monitor anomalous gravitational distortions near Rendlesham. They believe we're coming today, and they plan to stop us on arrival. How? Jack asked. EMP drones on the transport corridor, Huntergreen replied. And if that fails, direct recovery teams waiting in civilian garb around the forest perimeter. B narrowed his eyes. So what's the counter? Voss turned to a third screen. Project Veilfire, operational now. RAF Mildenhall will deploy a false convoy, 3 personnel dummies, 1 active jammer, and a decoy UAP drive signature. Meanwhile, a narrow burst phase jump will occur from Raven Rock to a harmonic receiver under Capel Green. Leo will be encapsulated in a theta stasis pod. Jack and B will follow 8.4 seconds later. The transition will occur at 23:13 GMT, exactly 24 hours before first contact. Jack looked at Leo. You ready for that? Leo didn't blink. It's already happening. I can feel the pull. Raven Rock, Psychological Conditioning Module, 0840 hours. Inside the dark chamber, tones played. Low, rhythmic, not music, but memory guides. Jack sat reclined, neural sensors mapping his cognition. Next to him, Sergeant B sat quietly, gripping the edges of the chair. Across the room, Leo hovered in a full stasis interface, his brainwaves synchronized to both men. The field was already forming between them. Why now? B asked aloud. Why Christmas Eve? Voss's voice came through the intercom, layered with biotelemetry. Because whatever built this interface isn't just mechanical. It's cultural. It waited. It selected the day when belief, emotion, and memory converge. December 24th is a harmonic cross point, one of the rare moments the collective human field becomes more receptive than defensive. Jack whispered, So this isn't about a machine. Huntergreen's voice answered, It's about recognition. Raven Rock, briefing Cell Delta, 1100 hours Eastern Standard Time. Voss placed 2 holograms on the table. The first was from 1980. A glowing structure buried beneath Capel Green, captured via exotic particle telemetry from the Rendlesham event. The second was recent. It was taken only 72 hours ago. When 3I/Echo frame, the third confirmed interstellar object, slingshot past the Sun in September 2025, its passage was more than a celestial curiosity. The object's isotopic core emitted a pulse identical to the ancient 13.13 Hz tone buried in Earth's oldest structures. As its resonance swept the inner system, dormant nodes across the planet stirred. Capel Green soil whispered, Sedona's spirals flared, Giza's stones vibrated like a living amplifier. What had been myth became mechanism. The ancestral messenger had arrived, and its solar flyby reactivated a planetary lattice seeded long before history, a system designed to awaken only when its sender returned. Identical. It's waking up now because Leo is alive, Voss said. He's the harmonic node. He was designed for this. Jack nodded slowly. So, what's he contacting? Voss's expression was unreadable. We don't know if it's alien, ancient, or something outside linear causality, but Leo may be reaching not just into the past, but into a layer of human consciousness that predates civilization. Something buried in blood. Something that may be returning through him. Leo spoke, quiet but clear. I've seen it. It doesn't speak words, it mirrors intent. If I fracture, it fractures with me. Sergeant B stood. Then we hold the line. No matter what. Final decision. Transport Command Tier 1. Time. 12:33 hours Eastern Standard Time. President Rayner gave the command. Activate phased convergence. Confirm echo jump for all three. The vault lit in pale blue. Jack turned to Leo. One more day. Leo nodded. One more moment. The room began to pulse. T-minus 23 hours, 40 minutes, 11 seconds. Destination, Capel Green. December 24th, 2025. 23:13 GMT. Objective, first contact. The countdown had begun. December 23rd, 2025. 23:13 GMT. Raven Rock, Phase Chamber, Omega. The phased cradle released with a hiss. Jack Barrett's body arched as the energy drained from his spine. Leo exhaled, steam curling off his fingers. Sergeant B blinked in stunned silence, his mouth open, his eyes wide. But they had not crossed. Not yet. This had only been the preparatory sync, a controlled glimpse into the signal band. A systems test that did more than test. It downloaded. Jack dropped to his knees, fists on the cold metal floor. It wasn't just a future. Leo knelt beside him. It was our future. Sergeant B leaned against the chamber wall. That thing didn't show me aliens. It showed me us. What we became. What we had to come back to fix. Jack nodded slowly, his voice hoarse. They reached into 1980 not to warn us. Not to stop something, but to plant something. Me. Leo. This event. It was programmed into the timeline. A correction disguised as contact. Leo added quietly, They aren't arriving. We are. This contact isn't first, it's final. Jack looked up at the observation window where Voss and Huntergreen watched. We know now, and we're ready. Raven Rock, Strategic Council Briefing Room, 23:50 Eastern Standard Time. December 23rd, 2025. The chamber held only 12 people. President Rayner, Joint Chiefs, Director of National Intelligence, NSA Director, Secretary of War, 2 Space Force commanders, and Dr. Elias Voss. Voss stood alone at the front of the room. A projection behind him showed the harmonic lattice blooming beneath Capel Green, pulsing once per minute in perfect 13.13 Hz cadence. He began without preamble. Gentlemen, what we are dealing with is not invasion, nor contact in the conventional sense. This is not a foreign intelligence. This is a recursive intelligence. Temporal, civilizational, possibly human, possibly post-human. A murmur passed across the table. The event in 1980 was a planted divergence, an interface moment designed to redirect a timeline. Jack Barrett was the anchor. His son, Leo, the harmonizer. The result of that timeline correction is converging now, on December 24th. That's why it must happen on that day. The convergence only stabilizes when belief, memory, and resonance align. The Secretary of War leaned forward. What happens if we don't go? Voss looked him straight in the eye. Then the signal collapses. The correction fails. The intelligence loop closes without return. And whatever we become doesn't remember us. The President exhaled. And what are they, really? Voss was quiet for a moment. That's the question even they may not know. But what we encountered in the threshold isn't simply us in the future. It's what we must become to survive what comes next. Silence fell. The President stood. Then send them. And God help us all. December 23rd, 2025, 23:54 Eastern Standard Time. Raven Rock, Staging Quarters, Team Room 12. The briefing had ended. The order had been given. Send them, the President had said. And with that, the corridor outside Jack's quarters returned to quiet. Inside, Jack, Leo, and Sergeant B sat in the stillness. No words between them, only the electric hum of anticipation and the silent weight of what they now knew. A soft knock interrupted the quiet. Then the door creaked open. The man who stepped inside was older, lean, and carried himself like someone who'd seen too much and somehow lived through all of it. I thought I'd be dead or disappeared before this moment, he said with a dry smile. But somehow, here we are. Jack turned, surprised. Then, recognition. DeCarp? Sergeant B sat up. No shit. Leo tilted his head. You're the guy who... Yeah, DeCarp said, stepping inside. I'm the guy who got too curious in 85. Was assigned to investigate the lights in the woods story, wrote a classified memo for the DIA, and then got recruited instead of reassigned. He held up a clearance badge that shimmered red. Clearance, OSI 4/A. Internal Systems Unit. Soft Wars. I worked under Director Martian, he added. Used to be known as Andy Marshall before the name was sanitized. We built scenario loops, used AI before AI existed. Tried to predict when the loop would close, and more importantly, who'd be at the center. He looked directly at Leo. You're the core, kid. And Jack, you're the key that started the engine. Sergeant B stood, shook his hand. So what the hell are you doing here now? DeCarp's smile faded into focus. I've been read back in. I'll be on the ground at Capel Green when it happens. This isn't just a contact event. It's an information cascade, and I'm part of the disclosure package. What we're about to show the world will either realign human history or rip it apart. Jack crossed his arms. And if it's the latter? DeCarp shrugged. Then at least I finally get to report the truth. He handed Jack a data chip. This is everything I've compiled since 1980. Interviews, energy signatures. A model we built off your vitals and Leo's dreams. It's called the Sovereign Echo Protocol. Voss didn't want to risk telling you, but if you don't come back, someone has to finish the story. Leo looked down at the chip. Soft wars? DeCarp nodded. Wars of memory. Culture, information, the kind that don't need bullets to kill a future. This is how we win one. Outside, a quiet pulse of blue lit the hallway. The threshold was preparing. T-minus, 23 hours, 39 minutes. The crossing awaits. The pulse of Raven Rock deepened into a living heartbeat. Every corridor, every circuit, every breath inside the mountain synchronized to the same impossible rhythm, 13.13 hertz. The frequency of awakening. Jack stood at the viewport beside Leo, watching the soft blue shimmer crawl up the walls like veins of light. It wasn't machinery anymore. It was memory, reassembling itself through them. Descartes' final words hung heavy in the air. Wars of memory, culture, information, the kind that don't need bullets to kill a future. Jack turned the data chip in his hand. The sovereign echo protocol, glowing faintly with the same pulse as Leo's heartbeat. Outside, a faint aurora shimmered over Maryland, an echo of the one forming over England. He exhaled. If we don't remember who we are, someone else will decide for us. Leo nodded, calm but resolute. Then let's make sure they remember right. The lights dimmed as the base switched to phase readiness condition 1. Somewhere deep underground, the phase chamber began to charge. Somewhere in the sky, an interstellar body, 3I Atlas, curved toward the inner system, aligning its ancient orbit with Earth's harmonic grid. And somewhere beyond time, something listened back. The final tone swept through the rock like a whisper through stone. The crossing had begun. The pulse of Raven Rock deepened into a living heartbeat. Every corridor, every circuit, every breath inside the mountain synchronized to the same impossible rhythm, 13.13 hertz. The frequency of awakening. Jack stood at the viewport beside Leo, watching the soft blue shimmer crawl up the walls like veins of light. It wasn't machinery anymore. It was memory, reassembling itself through them. Descartes' final words hung heavy in the air. Wars of memory, culture, information, the kind that don't need bullets to kill a future. Jack turned the data chip in his hand. The sovereign echo protocol, glowing faintly with the same pulse as Leo's heartbeat. Outside, a faint aurora shimmered over Maryland, an echo of the one forming over England. He exhaled. If we don't remember who we are, someone else will decide for us. Leo nodded, calm but resolute. Then let's make sure they remember right. The lights dimmed as the base switched to phase readiness condition 1. Somewhere deep underground, the phase chamber began to charge. Somewhere in the sky, an interstellar body, 3I Atlas, curved toward the inner system, aligning its ancient orbit with Earth's harmonic grid. And somewhere beyond time, something listened back. The final tone swept through the rock like a whisper through stone. The crossing had begun. Dawn broke over a world holding its breath. In Washington, President Rayner prepared a global message with Chuck Descartes by his side. A statement not of dominance, but remembrance. Across East Anglia, strange tones filled the dawn air, reflections whispered, and even the land itself seemed to awaken. At Raven Rock, Jack, Leo, and Sergeant B entered the phase chamber Omega. The countdown reached 0. But instead of arriving at Capel Green, they found themselves suspended within a cathedral of folded time, the threshold between the human and the divine. In the signal repeats, the trio confronts the truth behind contact. The light that fell in 1980 wasn't an arrival, but a return. They will witness the first encoding of life, the resonance of the child in Bethlehem, and the moment humanity's timeline fractured and was rewritten. What awaits them is not invasion, but correction. Not gods, but the memory of what humanity once was, and what it must become again. As the Creator's voice fills the threshold, Jack, Leo, and B will realize that contact was never about meeting the unknown. It was about remembering ourselves, and the world, now on the edge of convergence, will finally hear the signal repeat.
One cold of blood, one breath, one spark. The line between gods and men grows dark. The chamber hums, the pulse is near.